Hello and welcome back to another Kenshi episode, and I think we're on episode 8 now. And in the break between this episode and last, I wound up getting some extra money because I found a stack of river raptors just killed outside of the city. So I harvested the leather, sold it, and recruited 2 new members to our unyielding squad, Hand and Lydia. Lydia, of course, who is sworn to carry our burdens. And you can tell that, of course, we've left Bad Teeth. Diana's still hanging out there. But we are down here in the Holy Nation Valley. And I've got our folks smacking on an iron resource. And, of course, the first question that'll be is, why? Well, the next thing I want to do is have our group go into this foggy area. And those of you who've played the game before, of course, may know what this is going to mean for us and the difficulty coming up. But I think it would be fun, and it's going to be a great way to train up our skills. But before I do go here, I want to make sure that, number one, we're fast, and number two, we've got some strength. So most of our squad has been building up their athletics for a long time because we've been basically running all over the map. Now, of course, Hand and Lydia don't have that because they're still new to the squad, but that's okay. That's going to come with a little bit of time. So what I want to do is work on getting our strength up. Now, in order to raise your strength, there's a couple things you can normally do. And if you ever have a question about how to raise that stat or that skill, just hover over it here in the skill, the stat or status window, and it tells you. So it's interesting. Yeah, you have to kind of like move your mouse away and out of the way so you don't hit anything else. But if you go down to the bottom, you can scroll and see that you can carry people that are heavy or overload your inventory or use a heavier weapon in combat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this method of overloading your inventory. So as you see here, we have a strength XP of 0. That means that when this character is running around, their strength is not going up. You can see she has level 1 strength with 0% towards the next level. However, if we overload her inventory with a bunch of, say, iron, you can now see that her inventory is 98 out of 16. It's heavy. And also she has 25% strength experience. So the higher your encumbrances, the more strength experience you get. And now, if I have Lydia run far away, for example, if I open the status bar and hover over strength, you can start to see her strength bar filling up. So it's a very slow process, but it's one of my favorite ways to get your strength up to a decent level. Now, I'm not going to do this until everyone turns blue in the face. I'll probably use it to make sure everyone gets to at least somewhere like 10 or 15 on the strength level, just as a kind of an introduction to get everyone a little bit built up in order for us to start working on our combat skills. And so what I've done here is I've basically made 3 people work on this resource and 3 people work on this resource just to extract the iron. Most everyone has a good amount of iron already in their inventory. And what I normally do is let this build up to 5, and then I'll take everything out. So I'm going to fill out everyone else's inventory. And in fact, there's some people that I need to trade with Tobal because I want to use his nifty backpack to kind of take some of this stuff that it's going to take up room from the rocks. So we'll take up some of these bolts and things like that. And we'll give them back down the road, but I don't think we're going to be doing much ranged shooting coming up because our future enemy might be a little too fast for us. But we'll get back there in time and after we sell all the iron. And of course, this method isn't bad because you also make a decent profit after selling, 10, let's see, how is this? Yeah, you can hold 10 raw iron per person. So you can wind up making a decent little chunk of profit by selling all this at a city. Now I don't have them go, fill up the inventory and then run to the city and sell because you don't build up any skills by just smacking this resource other than laboring, which we're going to get eventually no matter what. So I want to focus on building up the strength. So I'm just going to sell our rocks once we're done doing our basic training. So I'm trying to look at everyone else and make sure that everyone has a nice bit of stone in their inventory. And in fact, I'll wind up having everyone focused on getting 10 stone each. That way everyone's at a nice same platform in terms of what we're using to level off of. So I will go ahead and fast forward the video just a bit until I get everyone initially set on their inventory and the stone that's going to be in their inventory. And then I will come back and we'll talk about our next steps. I wonder if we can slide that over. Hey, we can. Okay, so we've got enough room. Okay, I'll be right back in just a second as soon as we get everyone's filled up with iron. Alright, everyone looks to be filled up on iron now. We've got 10 iron on every person's inventory. So we all should have roughly the same amount of encumbrance level. It's going to change a little bit based on what their existing strength is. So as you have a higher strength level, you're able to carry more weight. So some people are not going to be exactly the same, but for the most part we are. So let's take off all the jobs that we have. Okay, so no one's going to be mining any more iron, except for Jade. Oh, they're still doing it because they were just had that existing order. So as you can see, we're starting to move around, and we're still set to run. We're still set to basically be as fast as possible. But because everyone is so overloaded, we're only able to just basically move at a walk, except Jade, who is, it looks like, able to move at a slight jog. So the next part of this fun adventure is the more grindy part. It's walking around with a ton of overloaded inventory. So I'm going to set everyone with a move order over to Blister Hill. Now we do have to be careful here because you're so overloaded. It's really hard to avoid combat if you get in the wrong spot. So if you get yourself in the middle of a a pile of dogs or something like that, you are going to have a tough time of it. You also have a tough time of it because you also get, I think, negatives to, let's see, looks at someone who's not. No, you actually don't apparently get a negative to your fighting. It's just a matter of experience. How neat. All right, fair enough. So you could stop and fight, of course, but if you're outnumbered or if you think the battle is going to go poorly, you may not be able to survive. So I generally have my people move between this crossroads here and Blister Hill. I don't go all the way down from Blister Hill to Stack because there normally is some kind of a dog pack somewhere in this area. So I might send someone like like Diana out to scout it. Odin is the name of my real dog, so I got a little mixed up. So I might have Diana go and scout that later, but we'll go down there manually for now. So as you can see, obviously it's really slow. It's not exactly the most exciting part of the game, but it's pretty useful for increasing our strength. Let's see at Lydia. She was at 1, so she's already at 2 and getting good chunks of increases per couple steps. So I'm going to let this run for quite a bit. I'm going to do quite a few laps here, and maybe after, kind of depends on how long it takes. But if we can get our strength up, I'll be pretty happy, and then we'll proceed with the selling of the ore, the distributing of the profits, and then moving maybe towards that area over in the foglands. Okay, so everyone has finished their training. We actually went and sold all of the iron that everyone had as well, so we're up a couple of thousand cats. I did spend a little bit of money in the interim to get some first aid kits, as well as a backpack for Rin and some food as well, because we're a little bit, the group as a whole is a little bit hungry. So let's take a look at some of the stats here. We've got our strength is now, you'll see it's got a -8 applied to it. That's because everyone is fairly hungry. So everyone has a strength penalty right now. So if and when that strength becomes a factor, like once the hunger goes away, the strength will come back to normal. But I'm not too worried about it because for the most part, all I want is enough for someone. So say, let's take a look at Jade. Say Tassilo in the next coming battle, or as we're running somewhere, say Tassilo goes down because he's unconscious. So Jade can pick Tassilo up, and she has a very small encumbrance penalty, but she's still able to run. Let's pull this up here. She's still able to run at a very high speed. She's still running at 21 miles an hour, which, sure. But she's still running at a very fast rate. So that lets us allow our party members to pick up someone who's wounded or like limping along or unconscious mid-battle and continue to escape. That way we don't have to leave anyone behind. I will go ahead and wind up carrying Diana because she's still too slow for us to basically let on her own. So there we are. So our strength training is completed. This is going to be enough for us to lift up unconscious allies. It should be enough to go ahead and do some decent fighting later on. So I'm starting to head into the Fog Islands, and we've heard some rumors, right? We've checked out some bars. Of course, we were just getting water because we're good Holy Nation citizens, right? We don't drink. But we were checking out some bars. We heard about this area that has some creepy things in it, and it looks like this is our first batch that we've encountered. So these are fogmen. Fogmen have pretty average stats. They're nothing to write home about, and they're all equipped with sticks because they like to knock you unconscious. There's another group of fogmen that actually managed to aggro on us here. But if we look at our stats, so they're running at about 19, 19, 18, 19. So our characters all, even with some hunger penalties, they're all running at least 20 or above, which means that our group should always be able to outpace any of these fogmen groups. So we're going to try to make a beeline to the center of this area because we have heard that there is a city full of outcasts and people who are hiding from the Empire, the Holy Nation, the United Cities, whatever it happens to be. It's kind of a refuge for lost souls. So we're going to head that way, see if we can do anything useful. Someone ate vegetables, by the way. The AI ability or the AI option to share your food, as long as someone has food in a backpack, they'll share that food out. It has to be in the backpack, though. I didn't realize that earlier, and it could have been in a training video, a tutorial video, or maybe one of our early Let's Plays, and they weren't sharing the food. It's because it wasn't in a backpack. That's part of the requirement. Okay, so I'm going to keep running up this valley here. Now, the fogmen as themselves aren't too difficult, but the problem is they swarm. They have a lot of their packs are very big. They have a lot of troops when they come attack you. It looks like we also just discovered Mongrel. So this must be the city. I don't know about hopes and dreams, but it is a city. So we're going to keep running through Mongrel or towards Mongrel. I'm trying to keep the group nice and tight here so that if we have to avoid anyone, we can. I see some more fogmen over here. Looks like they're kind of patrolling an area. Huh. A trophy. That's interesting. We'll find out in a bit, perhaps, why the fogmen have such a horrible reputation. But for the moment, we're just going to choose to avoid them. Now, the reason I came this way, number one, to explore and to kind of show you where Mongrel is and a little bit about this area. But it's rumored that the head of a the head of a fog prince is worth a little bit of cats. You know, maybe it gives some prestige to the person who purchases it, or maybe it's got some unique properties to it. Maybe they sell it to some people who brew concoctions, or maybe it's a delicacy, right? It's like cooked vegetables, cooked foghead. So we're gonna keep running up the hill. We're still trying to make Mongrel. Now, the fog princes are normally, you only see them in groups surrounded by fog heavies, which is a different fog caste, much like the hivers have different levels. The fogmen do as well. Look at how big this group is. This is one patrol. This is one squad of fogmen. So, I mean, they obviously love to swarm. They tend to do that, and they tend to kick your butt and then take you somewhere. Okay, so here's a fog heavy, actually. You can tell because they've got a different sized club. And normally where you see a fog heavy, you see a fog prince, and there's one right there. So in theory, we could try to kite him, but we're a little bit too far away from the city. And I will be making use of the city guards and the city defenses during the next episode or so while I'm trying to exploit Mongrel, basically, for all it's worth. Because we're definitely here to make a little bit of cats, and also we're going to try to help them out by defending their city. So, it's kind of an even trade. We'll help defend the gates. We'll get some food we'll buy from their stores and get a little safety from them. I do want to fight. I want to use this area as a way to train up some of our skills. So obviously we can work on our attack skills. We can keep having our famed archers here hold the line and continue to grow their archery skills and rather crossbow abilities. But yeah, this is Mongrel in a nutshell. It's got a couple of stores. It has an adventure shop, a clothing shop. It looks like there's an inn with lots of beds, so if we get knocked down, we can recover pretty quickly. Armor, weapon, so a pretty good assortment. Even some maybe some new crossbows would be not too far out of our journey. And it looks like someone's here trying to talk to us. And I think this is actually Beep. Beep is a hiver, and I think he's only picked up here in Mongrel. And if I talk to him, I could basically have the chain that lets me recruit him. But for the moment, I don't really want to have Beep in my squad because I don't want... He's really... He'll be at a level of 1, right? He'll be very basic. He has no abilities. He is free, which is great. So I might pick him up on the way out of town. Hopefully he won't follow me into combat, but if he does, maybe we'll recruit him and just stick him in his own squad. Hey, this seems like a good opportunity to pick a fight. Let's head out this way. I see a big group of fogmen. Now, what I normally do around Mongrel is I have the camera pretty far zoomed out, so I'm looking for white numbers to indicate that there's a fight nearby, or I'm trying to look for running groups of fogmen, because the runners tend to be part of, like right here. You see someone running way out in the distance, and sure enough, that's a fog prince. I don't think we have the speed to intercept him and pull him into the city, but ooh, it looks like there is a big fight brewing here. Let's go ahead and pull back to the gates, and we'll just let everyone fight it out. I'm not too worried because I think with the help of the shinobi guards here, we should be able to fight no problem. But we'll just let everyone go a little bit crazy. Alright, everyone's going to get a little stuck in. Alice is like shooting super close range because why not? I'm actually going to uncheck the ranged option so that everyone goes to hand-to-hand. Although she might be stuck on this order for a minute. Diana, are you passive? Where are you at? Diana, for some reason, is way behind. Come on, Diana, we need to fight. We need to get you some experience. So there's a nice pile of bodies here at the bottom of the stairs. Now, the fogmen have not much on them. They only really have sticks, and they do some bludgeoning damage. So you can see here, we've not really have a lot of bleeding per se, but we do have a lot of like bludgeoned or just damage that needs to be healed in normally when you're sleeping. But no one went down, which is good. A couple wounds, nothing really too critical. Looks like another group came in here. Any fog heavies? Because always I'm on the lookout for the fog heavies because they indicate that a fog prince is nearby, and fog princes equal money. Man, it's so hard not to say frog when I'm doing this. The blue guys, the blue man group with swords and sticks. Even the fog princes themselves have clubs, so this kind of is a group that values the bludgeoning type of damage. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything but a couple of clubs here. Well, the guards are getting pulled out of the city, so maybe we'll be able to pick up a group here. I like how Beep is trailing along. I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and talk to Beep right now, so he stops following us, because I don't want him to get beat up and then taken at some point. So, hi Beep, how you doing? Yes, we are a genius, Beep. Alright, so, hey, no money, no problem. Let's go ahead and open up a new squad here. And we'll stick Beep in his own squad, and we'll send him over to one of the buildings inside Mongrel. So that way he stays nice and safe and sound. We'll put him on hold and passive. Let's go back to the other squad and pick everybody up. And what do we got? Anyone fighting anyone interesting yet? Not really. I see a lot of normal fogmen here. I think the guards are going to get pulled all the way out, and they might kill this entire spawn down here, which is kind of cool. Now the spawns will always, come back over time. But it's fun that the guards get so distracted that they wind up pulling all the way down. Look, that looks like a fog prince. I'm going to try to get Tobal over this way. Everyone else is maybe fighting. No one's even aggroed us yet, so I don't think we're doing much of anything. I'll right-click and do attack all, and that should let our group get aggressive. And I'm going to try to pull aggro on this fog prince. Sometimes if you right-click from far away, you can kind of pull the aggro. I think we're faster than they are, so maybe we can do this. We might have to micro it just a bit. Oh, there's a whole other group behind me. Where's the fog prince from here? Oh, man. They're all over the place. Okay, he is actually turning towards me, so I think I can actually intercept this guy. So we'll have to wait. Okay, I'm pulling the fog heavies. Okay, so we've got the whole group here. Let's get all of our troops. Whoa, why is Tobal so slow? Why? I'm a little bit confused. Can fog heavies run at like 25? Not really. Yeah, I'm a little confused as to why Tobal is running so slow just now. Oh, because I've got the entire group selected and I'm having them run at the same pace as the group. Damn it, Diana. You're going to get me killed. Okay. Let's pull everyone back like this. Do we still have the fog prince with them? Oh, one of them's got a freaking ninja blade. They normally don't have that. They normally have a stick. Well, that's decent. That'll be also a little extra bonus here. So we'll keep kiting them back and back and back, and we'll slow down, make them think they're getting a little closer to us. And then we'll go ahead and let our entire group fight once they get to the gate. That way we're fairly confident that the city guards are going to help us out. Need to keep an eye on where the Fog Prince is, though, so we don't lose track of him. Okay, we should be safe inside the city now. Kif got, like, one shot here. Holy cow. Was that the Fog Prince that just knocked him out? Somebody's got Kif. Somebody picked Kif up, which is hilarious. I will say that you really don't want any of your squaddies to get kidnapped by these guys. They are bad, bad news. Let's have Tobal break off and heal Kif up. All right, did we lose track of the Fog Prince? There he is right there. That's the Fog Prince. We'll keep an eye on him, so when he goes down, we're gonna take a look at his inventory. Let's have Alice pick up Kif. Let's see if everyone can help out here. Get a couple free shots in here on the Prince. Is his arm useless? Oh, his arm went down. Okay, so the Fog Prince is down. Let's have Tobal loot. And sure enough, a Fog Prince head. That's worth 6,000 cats. That's huge. That's a really decent amount of money. And we'll also take your Ninja Blade. Thank you very much. Did any other Fog Princes get pulled into this fight? I don't think so. We can also take a look at the Fog Heavy that was also fighting to see how much this is worth. About 100. That's not bad. We'll take his club. See, I use this area as a mix of making a bit of decent money and getting your skills up. Now, again, everyone's going to have different opinions on how much cheese is too much cheese. At a certain point, though, I think you have to use some mechanic of the game, like the walls or whatever it happens to be. If you don't like if you don't like that method, then you're always welcome to find different ways to do things. I think you can. Is Dinah stuck? What is your deal, dude? Dinah's going like super crazy right now. You can always try to have your group fight really low-level bandits out in the world, one-on-one. That's a pretty legit, straight-up fight without much cheesiness. Let's see. We'll go ahead and sell that and a couple of the things that we got from them. But yeah, I mean, the game, it's one of those things that it just depends on what you're into and what you believe is a good way to fight it out. Looks like there's another Fog Heavy over here. Where's your Prince, my Fog Heavy? How about over here somewhere? Hey, there we go. Another Fog Prince. Sometimes they'll both come up on either side of the gate, so you get a little bit lucky with those. But we're helping them keep the city clean. We're literally taking their bodies, taking the heads up. Don't mind if I do. So we'll use this not for too long. I just wanted to show you what's in Mongrel. I wanted you to see, this is one of the more popular areas to go to make some money. And we'll wind up staying here probably for, what I'll do is probably pause the game, and I'll stay here for a little bit to make a good amount of money. Now, we're always building up towards the goal of we're probably going to start an outpost, and I guess even before an outpost, we'll probably start a science, kind of like a science building inside of a city to start doing research safely. So we'll hire ourselves, or we'll equip a scientist. We'll pick someone and make them our scientist. That might be a good option. Kif, how you looking? You are still unconscious, and you're going to wind up going into a coma because you're below your KO point. So who has him? Alice? Let's have Alice drop Kif off at a bed to recover. And we'll send the rest of the group back out looking for a fight. And I think after this, I'm going to... Oh, man, another group of heavies here. I don't see the Prince, but we'll have to take a look. Okay. Alice is still making him go that way. We'll bring our folks down here to the gate. So after this, I think I'm going to wind up having our group go back into the main area of town and maybe start visiting some other areas. Like we could go back out to the desert to look for some income. Although I think I'm going to try to beat up some small groups of bandits just to have a couple straight-on fights. That they're normally pretty good at building up your resistances and your toughness, because you're basically getting beat up a lot by a bunch of guys with sticks. So that's part of the reason I like coming out to the foglands. It's decent money, and since they use clubs, you're able to take a little bit more damage if you're just fighting the fogmen. Now, if you start to fight the princes and the heavies, it's a completely different story. So I'm going to look around for that one prince, because there was a bunch of heavies around. Where are you? Sweet prints. There's a bunch of heavies. This is the one of the downsides here. It's really hard to kind of catch these guys because they all look exactly the same. So it's hard to find the princes and make them stand out. Okay, we'll grab that head. And we'll take them back. And what I'll do is I'll fast forward a bit. I'll go ahead and have Tobal sell this. Have the rest of the group make sure they're healing up and full on health before we start the next big battle. And I might show that battle, but you know, it is kind of, I know it's a little bit boring because we're basically doing the same thing over and over again. And there's really no threat, right? Because we're at a city, but that is part of the leveling process. And for us to even have a chance at surviving the later levels and the higher areas, we need to build up these skills in a safe way. So some people do something like this. Other people will do a much slower approach and kind of fight small groups of bandits, like one-on-one. Another strategy is to build your base and start kidnapping. You can actually kidnap your enemies. So we can find a bunch of... Diana, what are you doing? We can find a bunch of starving vagrants or starving, bandits, and we can put them in a... imprison them, basically, and kind of like do a little arena death match, which we could possibly try to do in a bit. Diana has an arm in her mouth, and she's actually playing hands or limbs, so that's adorable, kind of. How about can we turn that off? I really don't like that she goes all over the place. I want you to hold. Can you just hold? Will you hold if I tell you to hold? Nope. You're gonna just do your own thing. Okay, well, that's fine, I guess. She's just going to run around playing with severed limbs while we sit here and recover from the last couple fights. So I'll do that and skip ahead and give you an update here in just a bit. Okay, so we're done fighting for the moment. We've got everyone decently healed up. There's some injuries lingering, but they're going to get taken care of with time. We wound up coming out of this adventure with about 30,000 cats, so I'm much more comfortable with where we are financially. We were all also able to buy some more food, and everyone's in the process of eating right now, so they're kind of getting their hunger back up. So I think I'd like to go ahead and leave Mongrel and head towards the city of Stack. Now I could stay here and grind up money until we're at like hundreds of thousands of cats, but I don't really want to abuse the princes around here. I think it's pretty easy just to kind of go run and grab a prince. We definitely got some money out of it. We got some skills out of it. And I really just wanted to show you what Mongrel was and what you've got inside of it here. But I think for the most part, what I'd like to do next, and we also got Beep, which, of course, you can't really overlook the quality that is Beep. I mean, just look at it. It's got a really nice backwards horn thing going on. Yeah. So the next stage in our journey, I believe, is going to be going to the city of Stack and purchasing one of the houses inside of the city. Once we have a house, I'm going to set up a research bench and hire someone to be our new dedicated scientist. We'll probably put him in his own squad, and we'll just leave him there, and we'll just deliver books to him nonstop. Well, I can't say nonstop because books cost money. The normal books that you need to unlock things like, the basic technology. Now, we do have some books. We only have 3 advanced books, the ancient science books. But we'll go ahead and grab some of those for our, not the ancient ones, but normal books. We'll grab that in Stack and start to research a couple of things. And I think I'm going to try to use all of the time that I can in order to research things ahead of time. So while someone's researching in Stack, I might spend next episode running between maybe down here near the hub and then maybe down here near Squin looking for some fights to try to get some bandits to continue getting a little bit of money, but mostly to get our skills up. Once we have enough science, I'd like to maybe settle down in the valley here and set up a small base, enough to start growing our own food, because food is starting to become rather annoying because most of our people are malnourished or hungry, so it'd be a lot easier if we could grow and then cook our own food. So maybe we'll set up an outpost that's big enough for that, and I might even look in the mod, in the workshop for Steam, and find a decent mod that helps you train stats up, because I do like to do a training, use those tools to train. I wonder if anyone is good for sale here. I really haven't checked on anyone in this building. in the world? Are you just a fence? A random fence here? Right on. Oh, 5,000 cats. Not really interested in paying your bounty. Look at this guy's sword. This is I think this is a plank right here. Oh, that's absolutely horrifying. Okay, so apparently we just got Crumble John to join our squad by simply pestering him to death. Holy cow. Crumble John comes with 24 strength, 10 dex, 10 toughness. He has this huge fragment axe. Sorry, not a plank, but a fragment axe. And how's your athletics? Can you keep up with us? Probably not, but that's hilarious. Okay, just a random recruit here. No big deal. Just pester this poor guy until he joins us. He's also a decent medic, and he's got some skill in assassination. Assassination is where you're able to sneak up behind someone and knock them unconscious. So that's kind of entertaining. Well, there we go. By just talking to people in the cities, you're able to possibly get some free recruits. This is the Infinite Wing Wang. $100,000 Catan credits. Alright. Wonder how many skills he has. I kind of got tricked. I feel like I didn't really want to buy him. But apparently we just got the Infinite Wing Wang. So, we're going to shorten this bad boy down to Wing. And we'll keep him. Let's see. I hope he's worth 5,000 cats. He actually does come with some skills. Again, much like Crumble John here, he has decent attack, defense, strength, and dex. So maybe these two can kind of protect the rest of the group as we're out and about trying to get our skills up. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, that's worth 5,000 cats. It's just a couple more than a normal basic recruit. So, hey, look at that. We're just getting people left and right. I don't want non-human at this point because we are planning on going back into Holy Nation territory. So I think that's it for my awkward recruitment drive. Killing Machine Cole. No, thank you, sir. So, yeah, I think we're all set here, folks. We're going to pick up, probably carry Diana with us. We'll leave Beeper here, maybe to scout out the area for us. And maybe occasionally he'll run outside and grab some heads, some prince heads, and he'll just be our funding machine. But I don't want to take him out just yet because there's really nowhere to hide him, and he's not going to be he's not going to enjoy his time in Holy Nation territory. So as always, thank you so much for joining me on this video. I think we're at this is episode 8, so I'm having a blast with this Let's Play. We'll keep it going by starting up a research bench and hiring a scientist next episode, and then we'll start to focus on doing a little more combat while we also bring up the base building. Oh, by the way, I never did cover this part. Yeah, the reason that the Fogmen carry around sticks is because they like to knock you unconscious so they can eat your character. Yeah, that's pretty gross. This guy's actually getting his arm. It looks like his legs first, and then they'll basically just eat them alive. And your characters can, in fact, have this happen to them. So, you know, just keep that in mind as you're running through this area. You really don't want to leave someone behind because they will become a snack for the Fogmen. All right, thank you so much for joining me, folks. I hope to see you again in the next episode.